Ah yes. So we waited and finally AMD let the cat out of the bag, and let's say it surprised all of us, well, for the better. And these two GPUs from AMD will give us a lot more thought-provoking decisions for those looking to upgrade their GPU. At a price frankly that no one would have imagined these days after 4000 series launch from Nvidia. Well, let's talk about it. With the 4090 costing $1,600 and 4080 at $1,199, it seems like AMD going the underdog route, with MSRP price sitting at $899 for the 7900 XT and $1,000 for the heftier 7900 XTX, coming in at with 20 gigs and 24 gigs of VRAM respectively, matching the 4090. And now there is a wide price bracket between these two competitors. A $600 difference to be exact between the RTX4090 and the 7900 XTX from AMD, and also a $200 difference between the 4080 and a 7900 XT. And with the more expensive 7900 XTX, a seemingly better deal considering the price difference it has with the 4090. The 7900 XTX carries a game clock of 2.3 GHz, 384-bit of GDDR6 RAM, and a total power of 355 watts with 96 CUs from RDNA 3, while the 7900 XT coming in at 84 CUs with 2 GHz clock and a 320-bit bandwidth and consuming only 300 watts. Both of these AMD cards also introduce DisplayPort 2.1, allowing bandwidth of 54 GB per second, which allows 8K at 165 Hz or 4K at a crazy 480 Hz, something that Nvidia 4000 series are lacking with their newer cards. As well, AMD FSR3 has also been announced with AMD 7900 series, introducing a giant leap forward over the current Fidelity FX2, offering 2 times the performance increase over FSR2 coming sometime in 2023, a very valuable option against the DLSS Nvidia solution. Now, the performance of these AMD cards is quite interesting because in all fairness it underprices Nvidia 4090 cards by a good margin, $600 and also $200 for the 4080. So just basic critical looking at AMD's 7900 XTX numbers presented to us, at a max of 1.7 times the performance of the 6950 XT at 4K, with 6 examples of different games ranging from the low 1.5 to 1.7 times the performance. So if we pull out the old trusty calculator and add up all the numbers of the 6 game examples shown to us, it adds up to exact 9.3, and then divide by the number of the games presented to us, which is 6. This gives us an overall average of 1.55 times faster than the 6950 XT at 4K. And the 6950 is about equal to an RTX 3090 in performance, sometimes a little more given the title, but with the 4090 averaging out at 1.7 times the performance of an RTX 3090, I imagine it being around 15 to 20% slower than a 4090, but then again this is all based on speculation, and at this point from AMD's presentation, not real-world benchmark testing. So $600 more for 15 to 20% faster performance does not sound very appealing for the 4090. And if you take a 4080 16GB into this picture, that's set to be released at $1,200 with 8GB of less VRAM, the 7900 XTX seems to be a far better value. Granted, we do not know currently the performance of the 4090, but I wouldn't be surprised at coming out on top of the 4080 in rasterization performance alone. Ray tracing, however, we do know Nvidia always had implemented a better solution, and AMD claims 2 times the performance of their previous flagship, 6950 XT. Not exactly a 4090 ray tracing performance, but far superior than their last flagship cards. Another interesting tidbit, AMD talked about quote an unlocked experience regarding their AMD Adrenalin software drivers, not requiring any registration or login to use, with zero account tracking in the background. Something that Nvidia GeForce Experience still tends to do, and that some folks are not entirely satisfied apart from the performance. So this conference brought a lot of unanswered questions to light in regards to pricing and performance, but it still leaves a lot of juicy details unanswered, as some titles just seem to perform a lot better with one brand than the other depending on the current title or future one. Also the temperatures, these cards will be operating with less wattage requirements than the 4000 series. Does this mean overclock overhead will be higher at only 2300 MHz on the 7900 XTX, which is a far cry from the 4090's 2800 MHz core clock. This all could turn out in AMD's favor in this new GPU generation, and will undoubtedly present NVIDIA's 3000 series and AMD's 6000 series as a much more value-oriented GPU segment that we haven't seen since pre-COVID era. Overall, it's just a great time to build a PC now, I'd imagine. Now let's see how NVIDIA reacts, or not at all for that matter, with AMD's undercutting pricing. Will NVIDIA decide to lower the pricing a bit on their 4000 series to better compete? Let's see what happens on release date, which is scheduled this year on December 13th. Honestly, would love to know, ladies and gentlemen, what's your opinion on all of this? There's a lot to speculate here. Till next time guys, thanks for watching, peace.